This simple product has just made mounting an action cam to your helmet so much easier. Hi, Tony here, welcome back to the channel and welcome if it is your first time. Now, over the course of the life of this channel and the videos that I've made, I've gone through quite a few different ways of trying to mount an action cam to my helmet, and I've ended up for the last few years with this setup. Regular viewers to the channel will recognise my RYD helmet, and I've got this mount here, so it's a GoPro mount stuck to the chin bar with a combination of bends and joints and angles. I've taken the original kind of long bolts out and put shorter bolts in to try to make it neater, and this has worked really well, but it is a pretty permanent solution. But you don't always want a permanent mount, and sometimes if you're going to switch from helmet to helmet, you don't want to have to stick an adhesive GoPro mount to each and every one, and quite often because of the difference in the style of the chin bars, it's not going to work for every single helmet. Or, as I found in the past, if you're traveling a long distance before you do any filming, you don't always want that mount on the front of the helmet for that journey. You just need it in place for a short time. And this is where the Dango Gripper Mount really comes into its own. As is more often than not the case, it's the simplest ideas that are the best, and the gripper mount is essentially just a big peg that clips onto the front of your helmet, and Dangos say that this will fit 99% of helmets on the marketplace. There's a very strong spring at the bottom. You have to put quite a bit of force into that to get that open, and you've got a narrow bar that sits on the inside, and then there's a soft rubber grip that goes at the top that actually sits on the face of the helmet to protect the paintwork. In front of that, you've got a standard 3-bar GoPro mount, and that's it. You basically just smack that onto the front of your helmet, mount your camera and go. I've tried this grip with both a standard GoPro, a GoPro in a medium mod mount, and my new Insta360 RS, and it's worked perfectly with all of those cameras. So you've got the usual articulation as you would have with any GoPro mount, and obviously you can press that mount in and rotate it around if you want to take this peg off and put it in a different position or put it somewhere else on the bike, but we'll talk about that in a second. One of the beauties of this is you've got quite a distance that you can rotate this back because you've got quite a lot of clearance. So if you're in a position where your chin bar is down and you want to lift it up, you can do that. If you find that you haven't got enough and you need to move it more, then Dango Design do a gripper mount, which I think is really good value actually at $7.95, and that's got a couple of extra bits in it that you might find useful. It's got 2 different length standard GoPro mounts, and it's got a 1/4 inch thread mount as well. So you've got the 2-pin GoPro there and a 1/4 inch thread. Things like the Insta360 1X2, that will work with that because you can screw the camera directly onto that mount. And if you're using maybe a small camera that's got that camera mount on, it's a standard mount, you can fit that on there. So for $7.95 for those bits, if you haven't got these connectors in your collection already, definitely worth picking one of those up. I haven't had a problem fitting it on any of the helmets that I've got. The only issue you have obviously is if you've got a chin curtain, then if it doesn't fold back out of the way, then you're best to take that off, because obviously you've got to put that up and grip that too. So although you've got a little bit of room, it is going to squash that chin sock. So let's talk about what it's actually like to use out on the road. So I've used this mount on tarmac, I've used it on dirt, I used it at high speed, I used it at low speed, and I must admit it did give a really solid mount. No movement, it stayed in place, and I was really impressed with it. In fact, if you watch the Itchy Boots channel and you're a fan of what Norali's doing, then I think it's a Dango Design mount that she uses at the moment. And if the footage that she gets and what she puts that through is anything to go by, that's a pretty good recommendation. I actually love the flexibility of this, and I think it's something that I'm going to be using a lot going forward from this point on, because I can either have it as a kind of semi-permanent setup and just leave it on one particular helmet, but also I've got the occasion where I might just want to do a little bit of filming, and what I was able to do is put that in my rucksack with the GoPro mounted to it, pull it out, snap it on, do some filming, put it away, job done. So are there any negatives to it? Well, not really. if you're unlucky and you've got a helmet that it doesn't fit to, but I'm really struggling to see what type of helmet that would be. Obviously, with where it's positioned, some helmets with the vents and openings and bits on the front can not necessarily be a problem to mount this, but obviously you're going to block those vents. The other issue with this is you will have a little section of it that sticks down below the chin bar, so it's not as clean in that respect, but I can put up with that for the ease and adaptability of this mount. Now, one other thing is there is a suggestion that obviously you don't have to just clip this to your helmet, you can clip this to your bike and use it as an external mount, and I think that will work. It is a really nice strong spring and we've got a really grippy rubber piece, but you do have to be careful where you mount it because of the shape. I took this off and tried to mount it to the screen of the 1290 Super Adventure R, and this happened. Now obviously I could see that that wasn't going to be a solution that worked, but I did it to demonstrate that if you are putting it on something thin like a windscreen, you've only got a very small amount of this that grips at the beginning, and it can slide about, so you do have to use a bit of judgment wherever you mount this. But you do also get a tether with it, so you can loop something around this and tether it, and when you're using a mount on the bike, as I've learned through painful and expensive experiences, it's normally a good idea to tether a mount anyway. So that's it, that's all there is I can say about it really. It was only ever going to be a short video because it's just such a simple product, but it works really well. It's got a nice strong grip, you've got soft rubber on there that doesn't damage anything, you've got a secure mount for the camera, it comes in different colours. I think it's a really good piece of kit. They retail at $49.95 and I'll put a link in the description for you to go away and have a look at those if you want to find out a little bit more. I think it's a really neat piece of kit. It's something, as I say, you can tuck in a tank bag or a rucksack and then just use it when you need it, so you don't have to have a camera mounted all the time. But on the flip side to that, if you are a permanent vlogger or if you want to do something like that, then there's no reason why you can't leave this mounted on your helmet permanently anyway. So I hope you found this video interesting and useful. Hopefully it's given you a solution if you've been struggling to get a decent mount for your camera on your helmet. If you like the video, hitting the like would be great. A subscribe would be fantastic. And until next time, all that leaves me to say is thanks for watching, take care, ride safe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.